Hello and welcome to this episode of Behind the Music. Now, I've not done one of these in quite a while. I want to say about 2 years. I think the last one I did was of Folding in Winds. Tonight we're going to be looking at my cover of Premonition from Final Fantasy VIII. I made this one about a year ago and this video is very long overdue. If you haven't listened to the cover of Premonition, I urge you to listen to that first and then come into this video, so you can find a link for that somewhere in the video box, or I'll just link it in the description down below. Without further ado, we're just gonna get straight into the composition, or rather the arrangement of Premonition. So if you're familiar with the original piece of Premonition, you remember that it has a really grand opening, a really sort of like choral intro, even though there's no vocals in it really, actually. So I decided my arrangement will start off with that. La 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 la. So after that we get into the main part of the piece, which is so I've used cello spiccatos, pianos, and then obviously snare drums and the like. I've got some strings doing some ad-libs as well over here, as well as bringing more strings in. So in the original you can hear this instrument. I'm not entirely sure what the instrument is. It sounds woodwind in nature. So in the arrangement, I have the accordion doing that line. Obviously adding some flair. And now the next section basically has more instruments brought in together to create a bombastic version of that melody line. Building it into one big crescendo. Now, one of my favorite parts from the original Premonition is this sort of interlude bit. The time signature is kind of interesting in this bit because I've read the sheets, I've read the music sheets, and they say that this counts in 3/4, then 7/4. So to count it, you would go like this. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I counted it differently in my arrangement, in which I basically do count it 3. Wait a second, I might have gotten this wrong. One sec. I've counted it differently in my arrangement. It alternates between 2 counts of 3/4 and 1 count of 7/4. So it's 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. You can see it's labeled up on the top of the timeline. It goes 2 bars of 3/4, followed by 1 bar of 7x4. I've also arranged this part a little differently as well, not even just from the time signature metering, which honestly, it all works out the same. So in the original, the only melody going through is pretty much just this. And that's it. So I decided to not only extend this section, but also add additional counter melodies and flourishes that play throughout the segment. So I've got a melody line that's added as a counter melody to the main melody. So it goes on the piano, it goes on the sustained strings. I think it goes on the cello. And then on this line as well. So removing the actual original melody from this, you get something that goes like this. And so when you put it together, you've got something that sounds like this. And so along with that, I've got some other flourishes, such as these strings over here. And then there's another second melody running along underneath this as well. So 3 different melodies going on at the same time. You have this one. And then you've got this one. Then you've got another one, which sounds like this. It's played on the woodwinds, on the flute and the oboe. With 3 different melodies going on at the same time, I made sure that they didn't clash with each other. So I put them on different kinds of instruments, so I could expand the sort of tonal timbre. So obviously you've got piano and strings doing one melody, another set of strings doing the main melody, but then completely different family of instrument, which is the woodwinds, doing just a higher pitch flourish. And then in the original, that would be the end of that. But I extended it for another few bars because I wanted it to be bombastic as well. So we add in all of the instruments. We add in horns. Let's see, we've got the 6 horns, trumpets, Pandora bursts, and bombastic basses. All of the strings are louder. The arpeggio is I've double octaved the arpeggio. What else have I done? And yeah, that's pretty much it, really. The accordion pops off as well, doing the same melody as the woodwinds were doing before as well. And then all of the percussion as well, snares, timpani, and some action drums and tambourines. So So at this point, I wanted to add a little bit of an original flair to the arrangement, obviously. So leading into the next part of Premonition, we have, I've isolated a lot of the instruments, but you have this piano phrase. That gets repeated, but with added strings. you've seen any of my Kingdom Hearts style music, this is a technique I use a lot, establishing a melody with a piano and then making some strings mimic it to really accentuate the melody. Another interesting part of the arrangement is how I incorporated the very start of Premonition, the into the main body of the piece, because I feel like that melody itself gets ignored after the intro. It never gets looped back to in the original game. It's just sort of an intro and it stays there. So I decided to bring that melody back. So in this part of the original, I decided to do the same thing, but in between certain parts of that section, I include the melody of the intro. And now, there's a certain arpeggio that gets repeated from this point on throughout the rest of the piece. So I want you to pay attention to it. It is in the original track, but it's so barely noticeable that I can't get you to listen to it and get you to notice it. But obviously I've got it here. So it's this melody, if I can actually find it, actually, I'm not gonna lie. So that's pretty much just this, I think, if I can remember how to play it. I can even play it with the original and you'll probably be able to pick it out. And so after the big sort of crescendo of the piece, which obviously sounds like this, it then repeats basically the main body of the track. So I'm known to include any references to other games or other pieces in the same game in my arrangements. I've done it in so many of my Final Fantasy tracks. And so here was no different. So given that Premonition is the theme of the witches, I decided that I would have Ultimecia's theme in the mix. But what is Ultimecia's theme? Well, she has a character theme, sure. But actually I wanted to introduce parts of the Extreme, which is the final boss theme of Final Fantasy VIII. I want to play the Extreme now, the original version. So I'm just going to go find it on YouTube real fast. So it's the intro part. So the intro to the Extreme goes a little something like this. Though you have to forgive me because I cannot see my keyboard because the microphone is in front of it. Something like that, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. And then an extra part that goes the problem with this is that it's all in 4x4. So what I do is basically change up the melodies so that they fit in a 3x4, or in this case of the project, a 6x8 time signature. So it's going to sound a little different. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. So a lot of the notes have been removed or changed just to fit within that time signature. Honestly, arranging melodies from one time signature into another is very interesting, actually. It's one of my favorite things to do. And so that arpeggio is also played on the flutes, on the harpsichord, the strings, because that's the first thing you hear when the extreme plays. And then the is played on the piano, which comes in later. I wanted to get all the little pieces of the Extremes intro into my arrangement, just so I could sort of like make people feel nostalgia for that track in as little time as possible before moving on to the rest of the arrangement. And speaking of the rest of the arrangement, that's pretty much it. The rest of the arrangement ends in a original part of the track that I came up with that still has that underlying melody from before. And that goes on. So I'm not going to play the whole thing. You need to listen to the whole track for that. However, towards the end, I bring back the intro again, not the Extremes intro, but Premonition's intro. And that's been hopefully a brief look at what I did for my arrangement of Premonition, just showing all the sort of interesting bits I did with it and how I laid some of the instruments together and just sort of the ideas I had in general. I'm going to try and make more videos like this more often. I might go back over some of my older arrangements and talk about how I made those as well. I also might bring this Behind the Music series over to some of my more original tracks. I say more original tracks, my solely original tracks. So I might look at what I did for soundtracks I've done for example, Lacria Legends, or La Brionia Elements, or Palace of Quest, which I'm doing right now, and stuff like that. So stay tuned for more sort of insightful music content along with actual music content, if that makes sense. But anyway, if you enjoyed this, give it a like. If you have any questions, comment. If you enjoyed the content, subscribe for more, and I will see you next time. Take care, stay safe, and stay awesome.